Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bring you the best matches, world class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. My name is Krishna and joining me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cutbush. Bill, how's it going?
Well, let's see, running on 3 hours of sleep, approximately. That sounds about right, right? Three and a half, something like that. Yeah, kind of a rainy day today in Toronto, but not too bad. Kind of got a wrestling hangover, you know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's not like I drink alcohol, so I don't have an actual hangover. It's just kind of like a wrestling hangover. Like, holy crap, did we have a good time yesterday? But oh my God, was that long?
Yeah, it
So
was a long day. Long
it
day.
really was. It was a good day. We saw some of like well, one of the matches of the year that we will never see again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we watched some damn good wrestling at Smash, Femme Fatales, Progress, and Defy. So, how was your day today? Recovering from all the wrestling yesterday.
I mean, well, my Fitbit advised me that I had 2 hours and like 28 minutes of sleep yesterday. So yeah, when I went into the office, I was running on like adrenaline for most of the day, but when the afternoon hit, that's when like I started feeling it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean,
Yep.
it's not like it happens every day. So
It was worth it.
mhm.
Exactly. But we do have to talk to all of you today about what happened yesterday at the Smash Femme Fatale show that started at 11:30, and then Smash Progress and Defy, which started at 3 o'clock. And they got these events cranked up and going like just about right on time.
Mhm.
Small delay for the first event, and I'm very impressed with the way they kept the events flowing yesterday. They got us out in plenty of time to be able to go and do our thing before Forbidden Door and that kind of stuff. So, it was a well organized, well planned day of wrestling there. There were a couple card changes that we will talk about on it when we get to it. A lot of indie shows, this just seems to be par for the course. People get held up at the border, people get sick, etc. Kind of like Adam Cole last night. He was sick, so
Mhm.
he couldn't participate, not cleared to wrestle. But on this show, we're going to be reviewing Smash and Femme Fatales, which is the first one. We will go through the matches, let you know what we liked, what we didn't like, all that good stuff. This is replacing our weekly show this week. Our weekly show will be back in its regular format next week. And this coming Wednesday, we will be, of course, reviewing AEW Dynamite and talking a little bit about the press conference from Forbidden Door, implications going forward, all that kind of good stuff. So you'll get a little bit more AEW in our pre-show this coming Wednesday as well. That would take the place of some of the news we would have given you this today. But for today, we're going to talk about some damn great indie wrestling. And we will start with the Smash Femme Fatales show. Femme Fatales is a company that runs out of Quebec. It's an all female company. And we had 7 matches on this card, 4 in the first half and 3 after the intermission. And they announced the changes in the card at the beginning. Silesia Sparks was not able to compete, and Masha Slamovich, her flight was canceled, so she wasn't able to show up either. But they found replacements that we will get into. The opening match was Nikita, the Smash Wrestling Women's Champion, taking on Liiza Hall. And this match, it ended with Nikita hitting the pedigree, essentially, on Liiza Hall. I don't know what she calls her finishing move, but
Mhm.
it's the pedigree. Um, I love the addition now Nikita does with taking the selfies and stuff going to the ring and checking herself out in her phone constantly. Um, her phone getting knocked on the floor during the match, pissing her off. There was a great opening pinning sequence that they went back and forth. There was some really good technical stuff between these two women in this match. And then, of course, Nikita with the pedigree. The match wasn't terribly long, but I thought it was effective for what it did. What do you think of this match?
This match was good. I mean, like it's like I had said that I don't think she was gonna lose her belt, and she didn't. The whole shtick she has now with checking herself out is because she's part, like she was on Muscle and Fitness or something like that, like she's some
Yes.
type of magazine. So she's obviously like, again, playing up the heel. She's good. The match itself was good. Like, I mean, they fought well. Um, it's it it wasn't like super long, right? They had a schedule that they were running with. But yeah, no, it was fun. I thought her character was great. The girl she fought, I don't think we've ever seen her before. Like I
No,
think
Liiza
she's
Hall. She's from
yeah,
BC. There was a
BC. Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
BC presence on the
yeah,
card for the.
yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I knew she wasn't gonna win,
Yeah.
so it's all good. I mean,
Yep.
but she fought like she fought well,
Yep.
so yeah, this is a good
Yeah.
match.
And I was impressed with her character. I mean, she presented herself well in there. I mean, Nikita has a defined character that she's been
Hmm.
working for a number of
Hmm.
years, right? And she has attitude for miles. She knows how to do it. She knows how to jaw with the fans effectively, right? She's good at the back and forth. Her move set's great. But like Liiza Hall, she impressed me as well. She's solid.
Yeah.
So we didn't know much about her when she came in, but she has like good technical skills. There was nothing wrong. There was absolutely nothing I thought that was wrong with this match in any way, shape, or form. It
Hmm.
told the right story, and Nikita got the win. And that was our opening contest. Our next one was a tag team match. I had thought this was announced as a four-way, but either it was and got changed to a tag, or it was a tag, and I thought it was a four-way. But anyway,
Hmm.
we had Mary Lee Rose and Casey Spinelli taking on Miley and Kristara. And Miley and Kristara get the win. Miley actually got the pin on Rose. This match was, it was Mary Lee Rose and Casey Spinelli were more like the vets, and they were dominating good chunks of the match, right? I mean, Kristara took a lot of beat down in this match. It was sort of
Hmm.
like classic, Kristara got beaten on for a long time, and then finally got the hot tag to Miley, and then they had like a bunch of sequences, and Miley got the pin on Rose. But it was that kind of match. It was like Casey Spinelli. She's seasoned vet, right? And you could tell by the way she wrestles, just like killing people, attitude, and her partner Mary Lee Rose was solid too. Both Kristara and Miley are fairly new wrestlers and more high flying, more technical. I thought Kristara was great in her role of like selling. She did an effective job selling. Um, and then, of course, after the match ended, Mercedes Martinez actually comes out and beats down Miley after the match and just keeps putting her down because she is demanding a title match from Vert Vixen. We find out that Vert Vixen is actually the replacement for her match with Masha Slamovich, and she's not going to be wrestling Vert Vixen unless it's a title match. And we do find out that Vert accepts said title match. So, what'd you think of this match?
Yeah, no, this match was fun. I mean, Miley's kind of like the face of Toronto, right? Like she's the like we've seen her every time. Like most of the times we've seen like Smash shows, she's there,
Mm-hmm.
either wrestling or she's like with Brooks and Looks, or Books and Looks, I should say. The match itself was great. You're right. Spinelli is, you can tell, she's a seasoned vet because she just knows how to interact with the crowd, knows how to play that heel. And her spear was pretty cool. Like I was like, wow, she hit her with a spear. It looked pretty good.
Oh, I know. She
Um,
almost cut her in half.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was good. You're right. Like the match itself was great. When I saw Mercedes run out, I was like, wait a minute, is that Mercedes Martinez right now
Yep.
behind her? And she just destroyed her. And credit to Mercedes, like she cut a perfect heel promo on her. Like they taunting. I'm gonna break her arm. I'm gonna break her arm, right?
Yeah.
If you don't give me that match. And calling out Slamovich for not showing. She's like, she's dodged me
Yeah.
twice now, right? Like she's making excuses. But no, the match, like I mean, this match was fun. These women, like it wasn't slow, I guess, because no, the time they're given, like it wasn't like they're given like half hour, right? They're
Right.
giving like 10-15 minutes, and they moved at a really fast pace. So I thought that the match itself was a fun match to watch. It did what it had to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Oh no, I really enjoyed this match. I enjoyed it
Mhm.
more than I thought I was going to. Right. It
Mhm.
was because it just was. It was great, sort of classic tag team heel versus face wrestling. Right.
Yep.
So yeah, it was good stuff. Then we got Trish Adora taking on Vanessa Kraven. And Trish won this one by reversing Kraven's finisher into a Hurricane Rana pin for 3. There was a lot of like, this was more of like a lot of chopping, so
Mhm.
like back and forth chopping and hitting each other. And it was like a real, bigger person. Vanessa Kraven is much larger than Trish Adora. And it was like big person versus little person, Vanessa Kraven dominating huge parts of the match, Trish doing comebacks and that sort of thing, and ultimately winning with the Hurricane Rana. What'd you think of the match?
Yeah, the match was good. It seemed like Kraven wasn't a heel. She's just, just a big
Mhm.
character, right?
Yep.
And really, she's super tall. Um, yeah, they really tried to showcase her strength. They
Mhm.
tried to have Trish pick her up and try to like the chop. You're right, the chops back and forth, like they had to they acted like they were dying. It was pretty hard, these chops.
Oh yeah, you could
Um,
hear
yeah.
them.
And yeah, it was a hard hitting match. But still it moved at a pace that didn't seem to slow anything down, right? And
Right.
that's what I like. I'm not the type who likes to like slow burn wrestling matches.
Yeah.
I kind of find those boring. But this match actually, it was just hard hitting, and like you can feel the shots that they were giving each other and daring each other just back and forth and back and
Yeah.
forth and back and forth, right? um I do appreciate the ending where Kraven was rolled up, right?
Yeah.
Almost by her with her own momentum rolled up.
Yeah. Over the
So
Hurricane Run.
so it's kind
Yeah.
of like it was like, you beat me, but it was lucky. You got lucky by beating me, right? So it still keeps her strong, right?
Mhm.
Because she got out and she actually chased her
Yeah.
back into the back room. So
Yeah.
yeah, this was a fun match. Like, I mean,
Yep.
it was again hard hitting match.
Yes.
Let's
It,
just
it
say,
was nice to see Trish Adora actually have a wrestling match and not just
not a
get
squash match.
squashed.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Vanessa Kraven, the Mountain Vanessa Kraven, and she's called the Mountain for a reason.
yeah, she's
Um,
tall.
yeah, big girl, and man, she hits hard. But I really liked her character, right? I mean, I thought she exuded a ton of personality in the ring.
Mhm.
And I liked her approach. I liked the way like it's almost like she's having fun beating down, but not even in necessarily a heel sense. It's just like she's enjoying herself in the
Yeah.
ring, which I enjoyed it. It was really good. Um, and you're right about the finisher. I like the way, like, I love finishes like that, right? Like I keep telling you, the most dangerous move in professional wrestling is the Kishikasai, right? Because
Mhm.
Saki Kashima can beat anyone at any time with it. Everyone needs a move like that in their arsenal, right? Like, look, Orange Cassidy's got it, right?
Yeah, true.
Jungle Boy's got it. Yeah, I mean, they've got those flash pin moves, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's important to have those. Well, then we got our second title match of the evening. We have Alexia Nicole, champion, defending against Nicole Matthews out of BC for the Femme Fatales Championship. Now, we had both said Alexia Nicole was going to win this match, and we thought that was just going to be the case because, they're not going to switch the championships. But Nicole Matthews actually won this match with a neck breaker, and
Mhm.
she won it after a very convincing performance. I mean,
Yeah.
she went after the story of this match was her going after Alexia's leg and just working the hell out of it. Dragon screws, knee smashes, knee breakers, like twisting her leg in the ropes, and Alexia selling that leg for good chunks of the match, right? And I mean, her offense is largely high flying, so it made sense, right?
Yep.
And she was able to get off a few moves, but she'd try to get her up and like her leg would collapse, and she'd hit a move and she'd be using her knees and she'd keel over. And so this was really like, that was the story of the match, was Matthews winning with just really smart wrestling, targeting a body part, taking her down. There were solid counters from both of them back and forth. Yeah. And then Matthews with the surprise win. I mean, we were both like, whoa, like the title actually changed hands. So that was really cool. So what'd you think of the match, Krishna?
Yeah, the match. I mean, again, I was surprised that the title changed hands. The confusing part was people were cheering Nicole, and both these women had Nicole in their name, and I was like, all right, who are you cheering for exactly? They're like, come on, Nicole. I'm like, which Nicole are you cheering for? But yeah, the match itself, like, Alexia Nicole, she's so tiny. Like, I didn't realize how tiny she was.
Mm-hmm.
And the other Nicole, who I'm blanking her name right now.
Nicole
She
Matthews.
Nicole Matthews. She was just like towered over her, right? So she
Mm-hmm.
used it to her advantage, right? Targeting her at one point, like her shoelaces were untied, and the crowd cheered when she was able to tie her shoelaces, but she
Yep.
targeted the leg and stuff like that, and that was cool. So yeah, I was shocked. I was like, oh my god, the title changed hands. That
Mm-hmm.
great. Like, that was fun. So yeah, no, this match was was a fun match to watch.
Yep.
It was it had like they both went back and forth, and I gave it again. I gave it to Alexia Nicole. She took it to the larger girl, right? I thought, man, she can get thrown around. But she didn't, right? So that's what I liked about that. The champ actually fought hard in this match.
Yep.
And it worked out. Like I thought this was a fun match.
Oh yeah, this was my 1B on the first show.
Mm-hmm.
For in terms of match of the night, because man, or match of the show, because man, was this match good. I enjoyed this match so much.
Yep.
You know me, I love my targeting the body part matches,
Mm-hmm.
right? I love my technical stuff, and the storytelling in this match was just great. You know, Alexia mounting the comeback, Matthews working over the knee, and she
Yep.
works it over, so she plays that heel role so
Mm-hmm.
well, like not like just asshole heel, but just like sarcastic kind of I don't really care attitude
Mm-hmm.
heel, you know, and I like that kind of a personality, and it just worked really well. So I mean, and Alexia was fantastic.
Yeah.
Her stuff looked so crisp when she was hitting it, right? Her timing was so good in all of her moves, her like head scissors, hurricane runs, everything. It was just so dead
It was great.
on.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, these two can freaking wrestle, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, this was a really good match, really good match. Then we got Taylor Rising, who was supposed to be facing Silesia Sparks, but the substitute for her was Haley Dillon, called in at the last minute. Haley is she started wrestling in 2020, hails from Buffalo, as you know by the tattoo on her back of a buffalo. She was 20 years old when she started training, so that would make her 23 now, with 3 years of experience. But she played the full, like when she came out, she was just full on heel, right?
Yep.
Like just right at the crowd. Even people who were like trying to be nice to her and cheering her, she just like blasted them immediately. So but Taylor Rising wins this one with our second pedigree finish of the evening. We had solid stuff in this match, considering look, these two women had a few hours to plan this match basically.
Yeah.
And you know, Haley would have been called in at like the last minute to do this. So you know, Haley too did the hammer and anvil elbows at one point. You know, they both did quite a bit of stuff. Taylor's a strong woman, and her moveset reflects that. So it was a good match. They went back and forth quite a bit, but Taylor wins with the pedigree. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. Like, I mean, given the time that they had to put together this match, Taylor is like she looks so young because she is so young, and she did well. I mean, for what it was, she did well. Like, I mean, I didn't see any like glaring botches or anything like that. I didn't see anything that I'd be like, oh my god, I can't believe they missed that kind of stuff. She did really well. She lost obviously, and you're right. I do like the way that she played the crowd. Right, she came in as the heel. Anything she did was a heel like move or like a heel like a reaction to the crowd.
Yeah, so you're talking about Haley, not Taylor.
Haley, sorry, Haley. Yes. Haley, sorry, Haley. Yes. So then, yeah, the crowd obviously behind Taylor. But yeah, Haley just she was able, like, again, I'm just looking at it like she's just this tiny girl, and she's just totally just kind of like, you guys suck. You guys are from Toronto. Like, I'm from Buffalo. It's like the best place in the world, stuff like that. And people are yelling at her because, obviously the fans that we had were like some crazed fans at some points, and she took it and she dished it back out. So I thought that was good on her for the first time I've seen her. So yeah, this match, I like, it was good. Nothing to complain about. And yeah, I thought they both did a good job.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. No, I really enjoyed this match. It was solid. It was solid. I've nothing else to add beyond what I've already said and what you said, but I would be very open to seeing both these women in the future.
Yeah.
Then we got Vert Vixen, the Defy Women's Champion, taking on Mercedes Martinez for said championship. Mercedes came out first, and Vert didn't bother coming out in the traditional manner because she leapt off one of the barricades, the like glass partitions, onto Mercedes to start the match. And it was on. Mercedes dominated the vast majority of this match, but they both hit each other with everything. I mean, Mercedes was playing up the heel like crazy, like jawing with the fans. I mean, everything just looked technically amazing that she did. Vert, equally amazing. Like, just her, like we've seen her on AEW a number of times, but to actually get her wrestle in a match like this, defending a championship, was a real treat.
Yeah,
because
agreed.
she can wrestle. And Mercedes ended up winning by DQ because the finish of the match came when there was a ref bump, and was Mercedes went and got a chair, and then Miley ran out and grabbed the chair away after breaking the chair, pulls the middle part out of the folding chair. She grabbed the chair away from Mercedes, and then when the ref had recovered, she then decided to hit Mercedes with the chair in revenge for, you know, the beatdown that she had suffered at her hands earlier. So that disqualified Vert, but Vert retains her title. Mercedes wins by DQ. But the match itself, man, yeah,
Yeah.
Mercedes is something else. The stuff that she can hit. You don't normally get to see her wrestle like this when it's shorter stuff. At least I haven't seen her wrestle like this on the shorter stuff that I get on some of the TV programs. But this match really showcased her, and it really showcased Vert Vixen. Vert Vixen has a huge fan in me now, so that was pretty awesome. What do you think?
Yeah, no, the match was great. Like, you're right. I mean, getting to see Mercedes actually like wrestle like a full match without getting interrupted, was fantastic. Her and Vert did a great job. I see why Vert's the champion. Back and forth, Mercedes really does play like she beat her down for quite some time. I was really impressed by that. And you know, I really like the fact that like Vert comes out to a Street Fighter theme, like the Guile's theme from Street Fighter. I was like, the minute it hit, I was like, wait a minute, I've heard this song before. And as it obviously it's a edited version of the theme itself, but it has the exact same sound to it and rhythm and everything like that, and it was great. So I cheered her on for that. I actually looked her up last night just to see. I'm like, I wonder if when she's on TV, if that theme plays. It does not play when she's on TV. But like she did such a great job. Like she looks like a champion. You know what I mean? And yeah, I thought, listen, I like the finish because it keeps Mercedes strong, right? She didn't lose to she won by disqualification, right?
Yes.
But she was gonna cheat to win, right, that match, right?
Yep.
So I like the finish. I thought it made sense. But both these they both did a great job, and this was to me this was a match of the night, right? Or the match of this show, I should say.
Yes.
For the Femme Fatale show. Yeah, and again, Martinez sat on my lap after when she was outside the ring. She like stood up and she sat on my lap and the guy beside me, and I was like, I'm like, good job, Mercedes, good job patting her. I was like, again, they're just interacting with us, right?
Yeah.
So
it's pretty great.
It was a fun show.
Yeah, no, and that's it's one of the great things about indie wrestling is that kind of stuff, right? Like the way that the wrestlers interact with the fans and interact with it's just it's great. It's such a more intimate environment, I find sometimes, and you know, sitting in the 300s watching a pay-per-view. So but yeah, no, Mercedes was great, and what I like too is how this made Miley look. She didn't just take the beat down. She wasn't going to take the scrap. She came back, she fought back. Right. She came out and she took out Mercedes with a chair. So I'm wondering if that will eventually go somewhere. You know, or eventually down the line, are we going to see a Mercedes Martinez Miley match? Poor Miley.
I was gonna say Miley's gonna get destroyed by her.
I know. Poor Miley. Anyway. So that brings us to the final match of the night, your main event of the first show. Jody Threat, hometown hero, taking on Allie Katch, her former tag team partner, as Jody informed us from the ring, in a no DQ match. Now, this match started off a little bit slow because, you know, they were kind of testing each other out and playing a little bit because they're former partners, but then it ramped up and the violence got a little worse. They were using doors instead of tables as kind of an homage to Forbidden Door. So they had a couple doors they put each other through. You know, chairs, stacks of chairs. I mean, they got the hardcore stuff going there near the end, and the match ended when Jody hit Allie with a F416 into the chairs, and Jody got the 3 on her.
Yeah,
what do you think of the match?
The match was great. I mean, like the chair spots were kind of nuts. Allie falling on the chairs, then yeah, the chair spot itself, like that was pretty cool. My one complaint was door that was put up first was
Yeah.
blocking a lot of people's view. I love the
Yes.
guys like, can someone destroy the door so I can see again? Right. That was kind of funny. And then my other complaint is the when the door actually broke and then you saw the door itself and I'm like, that's how doors look like inside. I'm like, that's
You'd be
not necessarily good.
surprised if you've ever put like accidentally put a hammer through a door or something like that.
Yeah.
They're hollow inside.
Yeah, this is very, very hollow. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's all. I mean, hey, you listen,
Yes.
these things like you don't want to actually hurt the people, right?
Of course not.
So yeah, no, this match was fun, but again, I've never seen a hardcore match live before,
Oh.
so it was kind of cool to watch a hardcore match like this. Jody Thread again, she's from Toronto. Toronto loves her,
Yep.
right? And she won, and at the end, they shook. They were friends.
Yep.
They as I said, they were tag team partners, right? They didn't. They fought, but no, this was a fun match to watch. Again, never seen a hardcore match. I just love the fact that all the chairs were used. Every single chair.
She
under the
had to
ring
pull
was
out
there.
every chair from
Every
under there.
single chair.
But
One
she
of the chairs
didn't.
actually almost hit Jody in the face when she
Oh,
threw it
I
over.
know. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, did it hit her just now? And then the ref
Yeah.
checked, but then she started seeing her launch it further away from her.
Yes.
So yeah, that was the only thing. But yeah, besides that, I mean, it was a hard hitting, hardcore match that all I can really say is like, ouch for some of these moves they did.
And I know how to get under your skin because all I have to do is turn to you during the match. Go, they're gonna get thumbtacks, Krishna.
Like,
they're gonna get thumbtacks.
Like, no, they're not. I'm not gonna watch. I'm not gonna watch.
Yep. But yeah, and nor did she get out that construction cone that I told her that she should get out from under the ring. But
that's very true.
No one listens to me. I probably wasn't yelling loud enough. Great.
I'm like, maybe maybe they were deaf from all the yelling from the audience.
That could be. But anyway, that was the Femme Fatale Smash show, which was really excellent. There was not a bad match on this card. There wasn't anything I watched where I went, oh, that was only okay. Everything on it, I was like, it was at least, good or better.
Yeah.
And I really liked that because I was introduced to a ton of new wrestlers, ones I'd never seen before in the ring. And it was great. I love that aspect of going to these shows. Right now, I've added a whole nother list of wrestlers, 2 wrestlers I would like to see, and I'm a massive Vert Vixen fan.
Yeah, Vert Vixen's awesome.
Yes, she really is.
And so is Mercedes Martinez. So.
Yes. Well, and they had the match of the night or the match of the show. So there you go. But only a short hour after this one finished, we got another wrestling show, and it was Smash, Defy, and Progress. And this one had 6 matches on it. It actually went by pretty quickly because they obviously really tried to keep it to the point where you could get out on time to go see Forbidden Door. So because that was just down the street from this venue. So anyway, the match opened up with Sovereign, which is a trios out of the Defy zone. They're all from British Columbia, is my understanding. It's Judas, Icarus, Evan Rivers, and Travis Williams. Now we know who they are. Remember when we did the pre-show, I had no idea. Well, now I do. And they're taking on Brent Banks, Vaughn Vertigo, and Psycho Mike. And this was both comedy and wrestling. There were some great wrestling spots in this match. Brent Banks can go. And it was the kind of thing too where Sovereign played the heel role. They'd get a guy in the corner, they'd work him over, right? They did this both to Vaughn Vertigo a bit and to Brent Banks. And Psycho Mike played kind of like the big guy, the jacked guy, shall we say? Because he then had a jack off with
jacked off. You're jacked, I'm jacked.
You're jacked, I'm jacked. Jack off. So yeah, they had a jack off in the ring. It was pretty great. So anyway, but Banks was just like this was the first time I think I really recall seeing him in a match. I can't remember if I'd seen him before, but he stood out in this match to me. A lot of high flying moves, a lot of really good high flying moves. Psycho Mike was Psycho Mike. Vaughn Vertigo was Vaughn Vertigo. Also the 3 guys in Sovereign, they're all quite good. They know their roles. They got the bigger guy in Evan Rivers. He came out in this weird face mask, and then Judas Icarus is kind of their stronger but slightly smaller guy, and Travis Williams is more their high flyer type. Good trio. The match ends Psycho Mike with the body slam. There you go.
This match was fun. This match, Sovereign, you can tell that they're an actual trios team, like a tag team,
Mhm.
like almost, because their tag moves were so good. Like it was
Mhm.
so much fun. Brent Banks, like he's part of the face team. He's a face. And when people were like yelling out, kill them, kill them, they turned and be like, what what are you talking about? Right? He's like, really? Like, so I loved his reactions to the obnoxious fans sometimes.
Yep.
So like that was kind of, I kept laughing every time he'd be like, dude, are you serious right now? Like, it's
Yep.
wrestling, like relax, right? Um, but right. He did like was awesome in this match. He really showed like this was his I guess his big show for that I've seen him ever.
Mhm.
And it really was a great outing for him. Obviously we knew I thought like Mike was gonna obviously win. This was a
Mhm.
great showing. Psycho Mike is awesome. Vaughn Vertigo is just he's just Vaughn Vertigo. But yeah, no, this is actually a fun match and great showing for Sovereign as well,
Yep. Oh
right? They
yeah.
didn't just
No.
roll over; they fought. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Heck yeah. No, that this was a solid match. I really
Mhm.
enjoyed it. I liked all six guys. All six
Mhm.
guys did a really good job in this
Agreed.
match. So, um, then we followed up with Schaff taking on Bryan Keith. Now Schaff, Bryan Keith, it turns out, plays kind of like a bounty hunter out of Texas, right? So he's
Yeah.
got like a Clint Eastwood style
Mhm.
hat and the poncho going on, and so he comes out like that. And then Schaff is this big, like biker looking guy,
Yeah.
essentially, like a really buffed biker. So yeah, he comes out, and this match was two guys trying to beat the crud out of each other, but Schaff was the bigger guy. They chopped the crap
Mhm.
out of each other. I mean, chop after chop after chop. And I mean, Bryan Keith came back, bless his heart for trying.
Mhm.
But Schaff just kept beating him down, and Schaff ends up winning the match. He did a sit out last ride power bomb for the win, and all I keep thinking is chops. Man, this
Yeah.
match was just chops. Both guys' chests were messed in this match,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed this because it was totally different from some of the other stuff we were seeing. It was just like a solid wrestling beatdown, and both guys got a lot of stuff in. So it was, for me, I liked this.
Yeah. Keith, like he like the size difference was large, right?
Mm-hmm.
A Shaft just towered over him, but Keith just fought back.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he never like just backed down or anything. Every time he got chopped, he chopped back. Every time he got hit, he hit back. Like he's kind of like a bit of a high flyer as well, like some of the moves he was pulling off. And there were times I was like, are they really gonna let Keith win this match? Right. So,
Yeah.
but obviously, Shaft just that last ride sit down power bomb was it like it looked like I'm like, okay, he's dead. He killed him.
Yeah.
But great showing. Like the audience applauded Keith as he left as well. He got his
Mm-hmm.
hat and left. So
Yep.
great showing for both these guys that this was a really, really hard hitting match.
Yes, it was. Bryan Keith kind of reminds me of a bit is Austin
So
Creed.
a little bit, yeah. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see
Yeah.
that.
Well, the attitude, especially, like not ever backing down in a match and stuff. It strikes me a bit like Austin Creed. But then we got the man with the greatest entrance of the evening, Charles Crowley,
Boy, my
who
boy.
who comes out with his monkey. He has a toy monkey with symbols, of course.
Mm.
And he's fighting Gringo Loco, who is out of Chicago, but he's known as I keep saying, the lucha bass guy. And this match was pretty great. They had a lot of comedy spots in it, especially at the beginning, because Crowley wanted to wrestle while holding his monkey. And Crowley's reaction to the crowd when the crowd started chanting "F the monkey," and he's like,
It's family show.
"It's a
There are children
family
here.
show." I know. Yeah, it was pretty great. But yeah. But anyway, Crowley ends up winning. Like, he cheats and gets a crossroads on Gringo. But Gringo, man, this guy has a lot of really solid moves. I can see why they call
Hmm.
him the Lucia base guy, because holy crap, can this guy wrestle? Because he can hit stuff that you would not expect a man of his size to be
To
able to
do.
hit.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
yeah, I really enjoyed this match. It was a lot of fun. Crowley is just such an amazing personality in the ring, and he never stops with the personality. And Gringo Loco,
It's
I'd love
good.
to see him fight a guy like
Mhm.
Vikingo. I think that would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And that's it, right? Like, I mean, they both, like, Crowley's on another level. This guy, his character, his wrestling ability, everything is just perfect. I think he's one, like, again, I keep saying I don't understand how this guy isn't signed by one of the big wrestling companies, right? I love his music. I love it. He's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. I love everything about his character.
Yep.
So obviously I'm a big Crowley stan. And Gringo, I was so shocked for what I got from this guy. I was like, why did they call him this, right?
Yep.
Gringo Loco. I was like, what, like, why is that his name? But when you see this guy go, holy crap, can he go? He's fast, he's fluid. His flips and everything. You're like, this guy is doing all this stuff. And his character is just like a normal guy kind of character, right? So he has like these braids and everything like that, but he's just this normal guy when he talks, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this match was fun. I enjoyed myself. This was a great match.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, it was a real anything with Charles Crowley is going to be good almost. Then we got introduced to Spike Trivet, the Progress champion, taking on Artemis Spencer in his 13th title defense for the Progress Championship. And we then learned who both these guys were because we had seen neither one of them before. Artemis Spencer's from BC, Spike Trivet is from the UK. Trivet comes out as very much like the British lord kind of gimmick, right? Like British upper crust, and just lords it over the crowds. Got comebacks for everything. Reminds me of a very young William Regal. And he won the match with a tiger neck breaker. Solid moves. There's a good technical start to this match. Artemis had some great high flying stuff in the match too. I mean, it was just really well wrestled. You could tell both these guys can do like solid like mat style wrestling. I mean, the UK guys are known for that, right? And Spike Trivet's very good, or Trivet. Is it Trivet or Trivet? Anyway, if it's Trivet, my apologies, Mr. Trivet. But I'm going to call you Trivet for now. But Trivet impressed the hell out of me. His character was just so spot on. His attitude, you can see why he's the Progress champion. And he retained his title.
Yeah, no, he like, I really did enjoy his character. He's got like that Triple H, the original Hunter Hearst Helmsley kind of like, I'm better. Like, and it wasn't even I'm better than you. He's just saying he's like a lord, right? I loved it because he wasn't like, everything he said was non-offensive. He was actually just being his character. People were yelling and swearing at him, but he was just being his character, and I appreciated that. Right? He didn't break at any point. And he wrestled. It's like he didn't cheat or anything like that when he wrestled. And he fought a good match. I thought he fought a great. I actually just loved his character. I'm like, this guy's a really good wrestler, and he's actually really good with his character. Like, I didn't think I would like this, but I'm like, this is a really good thing. So he won. Artemis, what was his name? Artemis Spencer. He's good. I think he's good. But I really do think Trivet was the better wrestler here. I thought this was a fun match, and yeah, I had a good time with this match.
Oh yeah, and I wouldn't be, because I think we're probably more likely to see Artemis Spencer again than we are Spike Trivet. Yeah, but I think he'd be good in a lot of different matches. So, but no, I agree with you. Spike Trivet was just the standout in this match, and solid finish. The Tiger Neckbreaker was cool, and hey, good match. Then we got Vert Vixen, the champion, defending her Defy Women's Championship for the second time on the same day against Nicole Matthews, the new Femme Fatales champion, Allie Katch, who was in the no DQ match earlier against Jody Threat. So all three of them, 2 matches, same day within hours of each other, versus Session Moth Martina in a 4-way for the Defy Women's Championship. Session Moth Martina probably got the loudest pop of all 4 people. She comes out to dance music and is basically there to have a good time as opposed to win the wrestling match. That's kind of how I took it anyway.
She comes out to Every Time We Touch. And when the song started, I was like, where have I heard this song before? And I'm like, oh, she legit just comes out to this song. I'm like, all right, okay, cool, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, she was there to party. Vert won the match with a roll-up. You could tell Martina was the fresh person in the match because she worked the majority of the match, doing a lot of her like running around and fun stuff and some wrestling. I mean, all 4 women got in the ring, all 4 women had good stuff, but you could kind of tell, at least from my point of view, that the other 3 had already worked. Right. Because, it takes a lot to do a wrestling match. I mean, Vert Vixen had a hell of a match earlier against Mercedes Martinez, right? Nicole Matthews had a hell of a match against Alexia Nicole. And, Allie Katch just finished a no DQ match. So all three of them, and it wasn't like they had like these tiny little matches either. All three of them had these like really tough matches in the first show. And I think they did this one well. It was a fun match.
Yeah.
They had some like
Yeah.
comedy spots in it. It wasn't the kind of thing where you're going to be blown away by continuous wrestling moves, but it did what it needed to do. Session with Martina, I think, kind of carried a fun vibe through the match, and there was some good wrestling. And Nicole Matthews would have none of it. I loved her character in this match too. She's like, what the hell is going on around me right now? And yeah, and Vert wins with a roll up. What do you think?
Yeah, no, this was a fun match. You're right. I mean, it had comedy elements and everything in it. Like, I love that Sessions didn't want to go into the. At first, I was like, "What is her name exactly?" Sessions, right?
Session Moth Martina.
Yeah. She didn't want to even go into the ring. She was busy drinking her beer, right?
Yes.
Again, someone else that came over and sat on my lap and the guy beside me.
Yes.
I guess we were just targets at this point, right?
Yes.
She just didn't want to go in the ring, right? And but yeah, you're right. When the match started going, like they they went and they had like you're right. Sessions did have a lot of spots in it. Well, taking a lot of the hits as well. But I think at the end, like Vert retains because Vert is the champion, and it just made sense. Like I didn't see anyone there who I thought was the champ unless it's Vert, right? So I thought the finish was great. I mean, the roll up, obviously, and yeah, this match was just fun. It was just fun.
Yes. Remind me to tell you what Session Moth means when we are we're off the air.
I can look it
I'm
up.
going to try to keep this a little bit family, so so I'm going to leave it for people to Google themselves and not mention it myself. So anyway, I made the mistake of looking it up while we were talking. Anyway, no, it was a good match. It was a good match, and it was fun. That's about all. It's not going to be anything for me to write home about, but I will remember it for its fun vibe. And then we got the main event of the evening. We found out that Juventud Guerrera was held up in customs and could not make it to the show, which means that the guy next to me who had his Mexican flag and was there to see Juventud got up and left. Then we had the Bollywood Boys taking on Matt Cross and, to substitute for Juventud for his second time tonight, Psycho Mike. The match was okay. There were some good spots. Matt Cross is great. I thought he had a really good show here, but I felt like kind of their builds and stuff. It was a little bit slow. And I mean, I understand that Psycho Mike already wrestled. It was good. There was some good stuff. The Bollywood Boys are quite good. They do their high flying stuff. The crowd loves their entrance. But the Bollywood Boys won with their finisher. And I didn't quite feel like this match was up to the same level as the rest of the card. Now, it may have been because they were going to build the match around Hoovy.
Yeah,
it wasn't there.
Thrown together, and you could tell that obviously Mike didn't have much time, right? So they kept him out of it for the most part, and so Matt Cross did well. Like, I thought he was really good. The Bollywood Boys end up winning, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I mean, again, nothing to write home about, right? This is not like my Crowley match, but I mean, like, I was like, it was okay, and I think what deflated a bit was the fact that it's like, oh, by the way, Hoovy's not here.
Yes.
Right. And the worst part about that is that you left that to the end. You didn't even say anything. Right?
I think they did that for a reason, because the airport's not that far from downtown, right? It's like a half-hour trip.
Yeah, they were saying that,
and if he'd taken the up train or something, he could have
got there.
Because if he's just held up, he could have been released at any minute.
Yeah.
And if he could have made the show, they would have wanted him on the show because he is coming, right? Remember, they said he's going to be here for meet and greets and stuff.
Yeah.
At 5:30. Yeah. Right, which was a half hour after the show was done. So they were still going to have him come. Right. So I think that the idea was that they just really wanted him to show up, and there was still a strong chance he was going to show up, but he just got held up in customs for the entire show. So he was unable to make it down to the show. And so when they realized it just wasn't going to happen, then they announced it. That's my read of the situation. But I think you're right. I think there are some people in the audience who would rather have heard it sooner than later.
Yeah. like they could have said, that there may be a change just to alert
Yes.
everyone.
Yes.
But I think it deflated it a bit because I'm like, oh, so it's hey, I love Mike, but
Yep.
Hoovy, I guess, was a draw for that, right? And Mike did it. Mike
Mm.
tried. I love Mike. I'm a heel now, right? I love him playing the heel. Like he's so good. But
I'm a bad guy. Yeah, that's
yeah,
pretty
the
great.
match was just
Yeah.
it's okay,
Yeah, it
right?
was okay. Yep. So, but that was the end of the show. Your match of the night.
My Crowley match. I love Crowley. It's my boy, of course.
Yep. Yeah, and the Sovereign versus Brett Banks, Vaughn, Vertigo, and Psycho Mike.
Mhm.
Very close. That would be
Yeah.
my 1B, but I also really enjoyed the Charles Crowley versus
Mhm.
Gringo Loco match.
Mhm.
You know, for sheer character, Spike Trivet also gets a note.
Yep.
Schaff and Brian Keith I enjoyed a ton. Anytime Vert Vixen and Nicole Matthews are in the ring, I will be cheering. But the Charles Crowley versus Gringo Loco. I mean, Gringo Loco is so damn good,
So
and Charles
good.
Crowley
Yeah.
is so damn funny and so
Yeah.
damn good. So yeah,
Yep.
it was great. Both these shows were just absolutely worth the
Mhm.
price of admission. I had a great time at both of them. Um, I find there's a difference between the pure Smash wrestling crowd we get at some of the other events and this more internationally flavored
Mhm.
crowd, shall we
Mhm.
call it? It was a bit of a different vibe. It was a lot more of a edge to it, shall we
Yeah.
say, than we
Yeah.
would normally get. I think that the general Smash crowd tends to be a little more family friendly, a little
Yeah.
more conscious
Definitely.
of the kids, and there weren't that many children there either. I noticed too. So
No.
there's usually a few kids at the Smash shows, and there weren't any children in the audience at this one. So
Yeah. My assumption is because the parents probably took them to see Forbidden Door,
yeah,
and we're like, yeah,
exactly.
it's a lot, right?
Or the
So
Jays game that had a kid zone going on across the
yeah, there
street.
you go,
So
right?
yeah,
So it's like, hey, let's go to the Jays game, and that probably was
yeah,
it too. Like
yeah,
maybe a lot of people went to the Jays and then went to see Forbidden Door.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, you had those options. You could
Mm-hmm.
wear a wrestling t-shirt underneath your Jays jersey
That's true.
and
That's
then
true.
just swap. But anyway, that is our review of Femme Fatales, Defy, Progress, and Smash on part of what was one hell of a wrestling weekend. These were both great shows. I've got to say though that if I had to pick a match out of both the shows, I would probably still go with Vert Vixen and Mercedes Martinez. I absolutely loved that match. And yeah, but again, hard to say. So much good
Mhm.
wrestling, so many wrestlers that I've been introduced to for the first time, which I love that. I get blown away by how much wrestling talent is there in this world. Like
Yep,
just in
there's
North
a lot.
America, right? And then we bring these guys over from the UK and stuff. We got the guys from Japan last night. It's just holy crap. It's a wonderful world of wrestling.
Very true.
Very true. But with that, it is time for us to go, but we'll be back Wednesday with AEW Dynamite and some talk about the Forbidden Door press conference and stuff like that.
Yep.
Poor Bryan Danielson and his broken arm, but we will
Oh.
discuss more of that on Wednesday. But for now, as the recovering great one
Oh.
always says, goodbye, everybody. Mwah, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.